Broadcasting live from atop the Rocky Mountains, the crossroads of the West. You are listening to the Liberty Roundtable Radio Talk Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, they want to use Dr. Speicher's disability against him. The truth is, he's a rock star around the world. He's done so much in writing and research and critical thinking. He's literally been sidelined for his willingness to tell the tale of truth. He's been sidelined for his desire to absolutely put real information in the hands of those who should be able to use it. Donald Trump should have a press conference. You know, he had those every single day during COVID, and he told us how he's going to send everybody these ventilators. And I mean, all the ventilators did was, one, kill everybody, and two, we never used most of them. It was a clown show. And now what we really need is somebody to come out and tell the truth and basically, you know, use doctors like David Speicher. And he needs to be able to tell his story. And it can be done so easily, ladies and gentlemen, right? If Donald, if RFK Jr., if truth tellers were in the government. The problem is they're not, though. So this poor doctor hasn't had a job for a couple of years. It's a horrible tragedy. In my opinion, we're losing the brain trust over this, Lance.
Well, absolutely. Let's face it, some of the brightest and best have been attacked in a way to try to discredit them from the ground up. It's normal, but that's part of the narrative control. You have to get rid of the people that are the true experts. You have to get rid of the people that are going to think outside the box. In his case, of course, he was attacked. He put out the truth. He put out the knowledge. And at the end of the day, that's not what they want. You know, Sam, you were talking about something on the break. And when it comes to the vaccines, and morticians across the country have been reporting about these deep, long, rubbery clots they're pulling out of people. And the only
Tom Havlin's been an expert. We've had him on about this very topic.
You know, and we've done it on our show. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons I was banned. We showed the clots. They had them in these jars, and they would show these crazy things they were pulling out of bodies. There's that. We've heard about some technology, about some.
And they're scary. They're frightening. They're like freaking Frankenstein.
No, they are freaky looking things, and the morticians have agreed they've never seen these prior to the COVID vaccines. They didn't occur prior to this. There weren't any clots like that. So you look at that. We've heard about some stories. I had some experts on out of Asia talking about self-assembling nanoparticles, benzene sheeting. They discussed snake venom in some of the shots that nobody can really explain. Some of these things they're finding, and these are actually.
Let me stop you though. When you say nobody can explain, they know full well why it's in there though. This is engineered. Okay, people do know. Doctor, what do you know about that in terms of snake venom in there and some of these other weird things in there that are like the average Joe can't explain why it's there, but yet it is. I'm telling you, those who scientifically manufactured this crisis, created this virus in the first place, or whatever you want to call it, and then created the kill shot at warp speed for this. Donald might have been a pawn. Donald might be involved. Don't know at this point. But what do you know about some of those claims? Is there any factual evidence that you have related to that?
There is none that I've seen. So.
Okay, well, we need to dig into that more because that stuff they claim is in there, and I'm sure it's in there for a very sinister, I'm going to say the word sinister like 3 times, sinister reasons for that. But see, RFK Jr. should know better too. When we talk about David J. Speicher, well-known physician and PhD and everything else, okay, RFK Jr. has a similar speech impediment, right, Lance?
Yeah, absolutely. He had some issues, and of course they've used that against him when he's spoken.
I know, and it's wicked, it's evil, it's satanic. How dare they?
Yeah, and it's really awful. They shouldn't be going after people for a disability. It's clear that Dr. Speicher's an expert. He successfully published numerous papers and lots of information that proves his knowledge base. His stutter has nothing to do with his ability for his brain to function in a way that has proved him to be the kind of guy that's putting out trusted material. His material has been used.
What do you have, over 30 peer-reviewed papers going on?
Yep.
30. Which is an incredible amount of material for anybody that understands what it takes to have a peer-reviewed paper. It's an incredible amount of expertise that goes into that and knowledge. Mm-hmm. But that's what they do, Sam. They have to discredit Dr. Speicher because if Dr. Speicher is speaking the truth, well, then, of course, everything goes out the window. And that's what they did to all of them. Look at Dr. Stella Emanuel. She's a friend of mine, absolute expert. They tried to undermine her and drive her into the ground.
They
And
did the
that's the
same thing to
point.
Pierre Corey.
Yeah, look at Dr. Pierre Corey. He's been on my show. He's a great guy, incredible expert. But that's what was the whole
Peter
intent.
McCullough, we can keep going.
If you take the narratives that are propelled into the media, they use mainstream media, and I believe that these operations are much more nefarious. I think they're plotted. And when it comes to COVID, look what they did to Trump when he talked about the China virus. Of course, they didn't want to say it, but now there's more and more proof saying that in fact it was manufactured in the Wuhan lab. So my point is, when is to become full transparency? When does our government stop being operated in a manner that acts like they're our daddy and mommy, and they're going to filter down the information? And I don't care whether it's about 9/11, the Dirty 51, the Russian collusion hoax, the Hunter Biden laptop, the Sessions laptop. When are they going to just open up the floodgates and let it out? Even UFOs. I mean, we're getting down a couple of deep rabbit holes here, but I'm tired of them filtering the information. I don't need them to filter
Yeah,
the
they
information.
think you can't handle the truth, Lance. That's
Yeah.
what
Well, they think they're superior beings to us. They think they're above the law. At the end of the day, I don't want that anymore. I'm done with it.
Yeah,
I'm
why we go
fed
back
up.
to the eugenics discussion. So, Dr. David Speicher, we want to tell your story. It's the untold story of Dr. David Speicher. It's a tell-all interview. You can get it on his website too, of integrity, sacrifice, and the high cost of speaking the truth, which means you basically get your whole career ruined. How's your family taking it? Your son obviously is for the truth. Thank heavens for that. Is your wife been rock star in this too?
She is not a scientist and has just left everything to me. She thinks that this vaccine is insane, evil, and that to have pushed all of this over a cold is just nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, she may not be a scientist,
agree
but
with
she's
her.
spot on.
No, she is. I agree with her. There were so many solutions, and Sam, you mentioned the ventilators, and along with that came
It's a
Remdesivir.
clown show, dude.
And on our show, we call Remdesivir "Run, Death is Near."
Death is near.
So many people suffered the consequences. Even George Ballantyne, my co-host, his cousin
It's
died.
toxic.
They put him on a ventilator. It is toxic.
It is toxic, and you put Death is Near in bed with a ventilator, and you just
It's
almost
over with.
guaranteed a kill.
It liquefies your
starts
organs.
with the kill shot.
Yeah.
Then hey, we go right down. Why are they doing that though? Do you think it's who's in on it? Do you think the president's even in on it, Doctor?
Well, we know in the last days, Satan will run this earth, and it's just evil being paraded in plain sight. And will these guys open their eyes? Ephesians 2. Satan has blinded the eyes of men, unless God opens up the scientists and physicians' eyes. There's people being maimed and killed, and they're still blinded to it because it's no longer about science and the facts. It's about pushing a government agenda, and it's about time all of us follow both the science and the silenced.
Yeah.
Amen to that.
Yeah,
Doctor,
very well
thanks so
said.
much for your stand. Thank you so much for being a truth teller. Thank you for your peer-reviewed papers. All I can say is this. I'm grateful for people like you, like Pierre Corey. There's many who have stood up, and I know they've been sidelined and lost their jobs and suffered greatly for it. Lance and I have suffered greatly in our own ways. I had the FCC, the USDA, and the IRS attack me all at the same time. So, we've all been through our kind of furnace fire, so to speak. But at the end of the day, you know what? We can meet our maker and be happy that we stood tall for the sacred cause of liberty. We stood on God's side and stood for the truth. And thank you for your service and your work, sir. Please keep us posted on what you're doing, will you?
Yes, I sure will. I just lost lab access for the third time yesterday, because I'm saying things, I'm on the facts, and people are trying to silence this. But
all right, brother, I just sent you Tom Havlin's information. Get with him though, because he can help. He can help, and what you can do is get a co-host on the radio and TV with you too, to help you tell the story and everything else. I think we all need help. I'm a blind person doing TV, and that's why I got all these cool sighted people around me. They're the ones that get the credit, even though I seem to get the limelight. They're the rock stars of the whole story. Thank you so much, Dr. David J. Speicher. DavidSpeicher.com. I'm Sam Bushman. Lance Migliaccio with me. Liberty Roundtable Live, ladies and gentlemen, is syndicated by the Loving Liberty Radio Networks. Spread the word, share the love, lovingliberty.net, and God save the Republic of the United States of America.